All right, thank you, Sergeant Ingram.
Hey, y'all. Y'all come on in.
All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, good morning. Glad to
We're
see you all.
going to start our young Thugga YSL Rico trial, okay? What you'll be listening to in this trial and it's the 911 caller in the same dispatcher, that police dispatch that been working this case for the longest, okay? And we're going to react as we go.
All of you back. Ms. Landers, you're still under oath, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Ms. Landers.
Good morning.
I'm going to pick up where we left off. I'm handing you State's Exhibits 2 Echo Alpha through Charlie. Ms. Landers, do you need any more time to review those exhibits?
No.
What are 2 Echo Alpha through Charlie?
Audio for this case.
And is that Charlie that you just picked up?
Yes.
And what is the 2 documents, Alpha and Bravo, before you?
CAT report for the incident for that day.
And how are you able to recognize them?
Well, I print them out. My name is at the top, and it says Atlanta Police Department. It's our CAT report.
And are they a fair and accurate depiction, Ms. Landers, of the CAT reports and 911 call for the April 26, 2015 incident you're here to talk about?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, the state used the tender and evidence State's Exhibits 2 Echo Alpha through Charlie.
All right, any further objection to State's 2 Echo Alpha through 2 Echo Charlie?
Just as kind of previous objection stated.
Okay, all right. I'll give you continuing objection. They're admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Landers, I'm gonna publish and start with 2 Echo Alpha, which should come up on the screen here. So, what was the date of this CAT report, Ms. Landers?
April 26, 2015.
And can you describe what the call type and description is for this CAT report?
Information for officer.
What is a 39 information for officer?
The person just want to get information on an incident that happened.
And so is this generated from an officer themselves or a citizen?
It could be a citizen or it can be an officer.
Now, what was the location for this info for officer?
3376 Peachtree Road, Northeast Atlanta.
What was the zone and beat for that location?
The zone is zone 2. The beat is 208 speed.
Now, Ms. Landers, a little bit toward the top where it has the disposition narrative, can you tell the jury what that indicates for this call?
You advise 9 to Cobb County.
What does that mean?
That means the officer hand the information over to Cobb County.
Now, could that ever occur if the jurisdiction of a crime is in a different county?
Yes.
Now, what time was this call received?
03:24 a.m. hours.
And what time were officers dispatched?
03:24.
And what time did they arrive?
03:27 a.m. hours.
Now, Ms. Landers, I want to talk about, you turn to page 2, the pad narrative, do you see that?
Yes.
You see the third remark from the top? The time is 3:24 and 40 milliseconds.
Yes.
Can you read that and explain what that means?
The unit advises dispatcher shots fired at a bus. Little Wayne is supposed to be on the bus.
And what is the follow-up right beneath that, also at 3:24 and 40 seconds?
At the Marion Hotel, units are out with the bus.
Oh, they said one nobody on
And
the
at the very bottom, when it has M type 25 to 39, what is the 25?
25 is a shot fired.
And what does that mean when it goes from 25 to 39?
The unit advises dispatcher change from shots fired to 39, which is information.
I'm John Barrow, and I'm running for the Georgia Supreme Court to protect the freedom for women to make...
going to publish and talk with you about 2 Echo Bravo. Is this the same date, April 26, 2015?
Yes.
Now, for this, is this a 911 call or info for officers? What generated this call?
It's a 911 call.
Is it the same location and zone B that you just described?
Yes.
What time was this call made?
03:24 a.m. hours.
And Ms. Lathers, if you take a look at the CAD report we just discussed, how close in time is this 911 call to when the info for officers call was generated?
It's around the same time.
Do you see the CAD narrative at the bottom, Ms. Lathers? Bottom of page 1?
Yes.
Now, the 4 from the top, the time is 3:28:50. Are you able to read that and explain for the jury what that means on the CAD report?
The 911 call advised the tour bus en route to location being shot at. Call advised the rapper Lil Wayne called and told him they was being shot at while entering the location.
And you see the second from the
How he
bottom.
know Lil Wayne?
It starts with CN. What does that indicate?
They canceled this incident and related to the incident 151160447 because they both around the same time.
That makes sense. And is that second from the bottom that says units are out of the bus?
Yes.
Now, Ms. Lathers, the audio that you have to Echo Charlie, does that 911 call correspond with this CAD narrative?
Yes.
Your Honor, this time the state's going to publish to Echo Charlie.
Hey, y'all can listen to the call, okay?
Atlanta 911, this is operator 6580. What's the address of the emergency?
Yes, ma'am. We need some officers at the Mandarin Oriental right now.
What's the address?
Because we have.
What's the address? What's the address?
3376 Peachtree.
3376 Peachtree Road. Now, what's going on?
I mean, we have a group, the Little Wayne group. You know, they are coming to the hotel. They said that they have some people who are pulling them and shooting at them. So now they are just about to come and park in our hotel right now. So they need some police around.
They said somebody's been shooting at them?
Yes, that's what they said.
Okay, are they black, white, or Hispanic?
Huh?
Are they black, white, or Hispanic?
Yes, I mean, it looks like black people. They are with Little Wayne, the rapper.
They're with Lil Wayne, the rapper?
Yeah, the group, yes, his group members.
Okay, how many are there?
Well, I don't know exactly how many of them are in the bus. They are in the bus.
Are they they're in their bus?
Yes, they are in the bus, but they are on the way coming to the hotel. They said that they have these guys following them, so they are coming to park in the hotel.
They have somebody following them? Did they give a description of who's following them?
No, they did not.
Okay, what's your name, sir?
This don't sound right.
Spell that?
Spell your name.
Ismaila.
Oh, no, I
So what's the
his
number you're
name.
calling on?
Oh, they don't
Your
want
Honor, we're pausing the phone number that's stated at 1 minute and 30 seconds on to Echo Alpha Charlie.
I didn't know they was on the bus when they was shooting at them. I thought they said the bus. 1 minute they said the bus empty. 1 minute they said they on the bus. Can't be on the bus.
500.
I thought the people was out there, the passengers.
How far
was
away
out.
are they from you?
I don't know how far they are. They just told me that they are on the way, and then they just ran off.
All right, we'll get somebody out there.
Okay, then, thanks.
Thank you. And Your Honor, just for the record, we resumed it back at 1 minute and 37 seconds.
All right.
Ms. Ladders, when we had just discussed a couple minutes ago on 2 Echo Alpha, that CAD report under the CAD narrative, when the call changed from a 25 shots fired to a 39 info, do you remember that, Ms. Ladders?
Yes,
What was the time that the call type changed?
06:24 a.m. hours.
Thank you, Ms. Ladders.
All right, Mr. Adams, your time, baby. Now I thought y'all put down in the comments when y'all get a chance. I thought the bus. Wasn't nobody on the
Question
bus.
for Fox State, Your Honor.
Cross.
I thought wasn't
Mr.
nobody on the
Adams, go
bus,
ahead.
y'all. But then minute they said they was on the highway and somebody was shooting at the bus.
Ms. Landers,
Morning.
welcome back. Can I step up to it?
You may, sir.
You got the CAD reports in front of you, is that right?
Yes.
You mind if I grab these for a second and just reference some items on them? And I'll show it to you in a second, that's okay. All right. So to kind of, if I can sum up what I heard you testify to, there was a 911 call that comes in at about 3:24 in the morning of April 26th, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. The CAD reports make reference to the calls, and there are 2 calls, is that correct?
Correct.
All right. Now, I want to ask you about 2 Echo Bravo, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. One more time, Judge.
You may.
All right, so this is the CAD report that you referenced earlier. It was up on the screen. And did I hear you read out this portion where it talks about the call coming in and a tour bus en route to a location being shot at?
Yes.
Okay. Now, according to the CAD report, the caller advised that Lil Wayne called
Total
and
lie.
told him they were being shot at while en route. Is that right?
That's what it says on the CAD report.
Okay.
But he
Now,
didn't.
I heard that one 911 call played. Is there another 911 call from someone identifying themselves as Dwayne Carter or Lil Wayne that you're aware of?
I can't advise, no.
Okay. Now, these were calls that came into City of Atlanta 911, is that right?
Correct.
Now, are you aware of any calls that would have come into Cobb County or Marietta or any other jurisdiction in regards to this incident?
No.
Okay. If there were a call that had come into a different jurisdiction, I'm just asking now about how 911 dispatches work. If there were a call that had come into, for example, Cobb County 911, and it was related to this Atlanta call, would there have been something indicating that a previous call had been made to Cobb County about this?
If Cobb County called 911.
Okay. But as you sit here and having reviewed the documents, you have no indication that there is a separate call from anyone named Lil Wayne about this incident. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
Lil Wayne didn't call again.
The 911 call that was played was an individual who was relaying what was being told to him by someone else. Is that what it sounded like to you?
He advised third party.
Okay, so that person was saying what a third party had told him, and that person was calling into 911. Is that
Your
right?
Honor,
Basis.
calls for speculation.
No, it's not.
I'll sustain the objection.
Okay. Am I correct that the person who was making the 911 call was referencing, as you listened to it, was referencing what had been told to them by someone else?
Correct.
Okay. Am I correct? There was no description given of whatever or whoever was shooting at the bus on that 911 call. Is that right?
Correct.
There's nothing in either the 911 call or the CAD report that gives a name or a description of a person that is supposedly shooting at the bus. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hear I couldn't make out the name of that person who was calling. Were you able to make out that name by listening to that 911 call?
He spelled his name.
Okay.
Yeah, he spelled it.
I didn't make out the spelling either.
I didn't either.
Is it in the CAD report?
Yes, it is.
Okay, what is the name in the CAD report? How is it spelled?
ISMALIA.
But we didn't hear it. Adam is right.
ISMALIA.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. And if I'm correct, and then please tell me if I'm right or wrong, the first CAD report makes reference to a call that came in from a location on Peachtree Road. Actually, both of them came in from Peachtree Road. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
First call came in with officer pulled out with his dispatcher.
Okay.
Okay.
And the second one?
It's a 911 call.
Okay. When the incident is actually taking place?
Yes.
Or what the caller said? What happened during the incident? Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. That's the caller the whole time. He said it was the officer.
All right. Ms. Latness, hold on 1 second for me, okay? Have 1 second, Judge?
Yes, sir.
I ain't heard no
Ms. Latness, thank you. As always.
officer.
Any additional cross, Mr. Sharp?
Yes, Your Honor. I just, before I answer that, I just look at the camera report.
She smelled.
Ms. Lightners, you have
Ooh,
both.
y'all think.
Yes.
It must have stopped. Look at her. Here we go.
I have no further question. I have no question.
Okay.
Wow, what make he turn and change his
Any
mind?
redirect?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Lyons, when you were discussing just a minute ago with defense counsel about if Cobb County had called 911, it could be routed, can you explain that? What did you mean by that?
If something happened in Cobb County and they noticed persons en route to Atlanta, Cobb County would either transfer the 911 call over to us, or someone from Cobb County would call the supervisor that's in Atlanta and advise them the incident was going on.
Oh, okay. That's what.
And if they do not know that they're en route to Atlanta, do you know what would happen in that circumstance?
We won't get a call from.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Lyons. No further questions, Your Honor.
Anything further, Mr. Adams or Mr. Sharp?
No.
Anyone else? All right, may Ms. Latners be permanently, temporarily excused the witness.
Temporarily excuse Your Honor.
Sorry, Ms. Latners. All right, okay. Adam, I'm gonna temporarily excuse you.
They got to have you, Miss Atlanta, because you the 911
In
caller.
this case. All right.
You miss 911, honey. You got to work. What's the next witness?
All right, call your next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. City Hall, Mr. Alvin Lewis is here.
All right, summon Mr. Alvin Lewis, please. Mr. Lewis, good morning, sir. Sir, if you would please approach the witness stand. Once you get there, if you would be so kind to turn and face Sergeant Ingram and be sworn as a witness before you sit down, sir.
She don't have phone. He look like a clean police officer.
Alvin Lewis, Alvin Lewis.
Alvin Lewis.
Yes, that's what we discussed last week, Your Honor.
Yes, that
Good morning, Mr. Lewis. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Where are you from?
Los Angeles, California.
And were you born and raised in Los Angeles?
Yes.
And what part of Los Angeles were you born and raised?
In the Leimert Park area.
Okay. And how old are you, Mr. Lewis? I know you don't like answering that question.
No, I don't mind. It's 66.
All right. And are you
Shane?
married?
No.
Do you have any children?
Yes.
How many?
2.
And how old are your children?
Objection, Your Honor, relevance.
Overruled, sir.
I mean, what we need to know?
40-ish. 40.
All right. You don't really remember. That's okay. And any grandkids?
Yes.
How many?
Just one.
Relevance.
Overruled, sir.
It is irrelevant.
Mr. Harvey's asking for the witness to be speaking in the microphone.
Sure.
I heard it, Mr. Harvey. I relayed the message. Okay, all right, sir.
And do you work?
No, I'm retired, actually. I just filed for retirement.
Okay. And where did you retire from?
That night that I was shot. This incident happened.
The microphone, sir, if you wouldn't
The
mind.
night that this incident happened is when I retired.
Okay. And what was the industry that you retired
I
from?
worked in the entertainment industry.
Look at her on her
transporting
phone, y'all.
entertainers, athletes, different.
Right here in front of me. Miss Love on her phone.
And we're going to talk more about that in a moment. In retirement, are you working or doing it and have any hobbies that you're doing while in retirement?
Yeah, I have started a little pizza business to keep me occupied
And how long have you had that business?
for 2 years.
Now, you just
Just
talked
can't
about
be
the
quiet.
night
Look
that
at
this
her.
happened. You retired for being the tour bus operator.
She can't
Are
even
you
pay
referring to the shooting
attention.
in April of 2015?
I'll overrule it just for purposes of direction, so let's get to it.
Thank you, Your Honor. Are you referring to the shooting in April of 2015?
Yes, I am.
As a result of that shooting, do you have a pending civil matter?
Yes, I do.
And who are the defendants in your pending civil matter?
They are listed in the 180-page police report that I have a copy of, and my attorney has a copy of.
She trying to get a new bus.
Let me ask you this, is YSL Enterprise one of the defendants in your civil matter?
Yes, they are.
Yeah,
And
miss.
is an individual by the name of Brian Williams, also known as Birdman, a defendant in your pending civil matter?
Yes, he is.
What about an individual by the name of Jeffrey Williams?
Yes, he is.
What is the current status of your pending civil matter?
Objection is to relevance.
I'll overrule the objection, sir.
Why?
It's actually been on stay since filed.
I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
It's been on stay since I filed it after this incident, a couple of years after the incident happened.
She can't even sit there and listen to her colleague
And
present.
do you know what has caused
She
the
a
delay?
mess. Got to get in the camera.
Try not to. I let the lawyers handle that. I try not to get involved with that.
Fully understandable. Do you know what is the amount of damages that are being sought in your pending civil matter?
Somewhere around $30 million.
What? $30 million?
And does that civil matter have anything to do with why you're testifying today in this case?
No.
$30 million?
Now, tell the jury a little bit about what you did as a tour bus operator.
It was our duty to maintain the bus, maintain the safety of passengers,
Good
and get
Jesus.
from point A to point B as safely as possible. And on time. You know, we had a responsibility for their lives and for their safety.
And you said that you retired. How long were you working prior to you having to retire?
25 years. 25 years in the bus business.
Some bread there, baby.
And in that 25 years, was that primarily as the tour bus operator?
Yes, well, sometimes it would get slow in the season, and I had a car hauling business that I would go home and haul cars. I worked for the studio in LA, and, but most of the bus, yes.
In order to be a tour bus operator, you had to have a special license.
I had a Class A from the age of 18.
And for those of us who may not know, what's a Class A?
Class A is pretty much A. You can do pretty much whatever you need to do. You can't haul explosives. You can't, haul petroleum. I mean, diesel, fuel, gas tanks and stuff. But I was able to do what I.
And is a Class A license the same as a CDL license?
Oh my God.
Yes.
Can we get to the
You had
case?
your tour bus, or excuse me, your CDL license or your Class A license since you were 18. Initially, when you received your license, did you start out as a tour bus operator?
No, I actually first bought a truck, a dump truck, and went out by the airport, taught myself how to drive it, and then went and got my license. A friend of mine drove the truck home, so I wasn't doing anything illegal on the street. Yeah.
What they got to do with
Let
that?
me ask you, are you still licensed? Do you still have your
No, I
Class A license?
surrendered it.
Like he a teenager.
Back then.
When you had your license, were you licensed in one state or multiple states?
Multiple states.
What were the states you were licensed in?
We were able to go to all the United States and Canada. We drove everywhere.
And I knew you drove everywhere, but who issued you your license?
California did.
Were you issued a license in any other state?
And, I was issued one in Florida because I was working so much in and out of Florida that I didn't have a chance to get back to California to get my license renewed. So I just got it renewed in Florida for a short time. And then when I got back to California, I went back to license in California.
Mm-hmm. How did you get into the field of tour bus operations?
Guys,
I was
talk
asked
about the case.
to actually
It's a waste of
to
time.
do a tour. I had a Subway sandwich at the time,
Look at
and I had foot surgery. And a
It's
friend of mine was
wasting
a partner
time.
in the tour bus business, and he asked me to do one tour, and I went out and did it, and I liked it, so I ended up selling the Subway sandwich and went on the road.
And I'm sorry, what are you saying about the sandwich?
Yeah, Subway sandwich.
You were selling sandwiches,
I had a Subway sandwich business. Just
like the eater
Oh,
Subway.
yeah.
girl, let's talk about the case.
Yes.
Talking about what he like to eat and
Now,
stuff.
over the course of your 25 years as a tour bus operator, how many companies did you work for?
True.
What was the first company that you worked for?
Florida Coach of America.
He said
Entertainment
that.
Coaches of America.
Did it have another name as well?
Florida Coach, just Florida Coach, yeah.
How long did you work for Entertainment Coach or Florida Custom Coach?
I worked
I'm gonna
for
skip this a
them
little bit,
for
y'all. I'm getting frustrated with it. I want to get to the business.
And did Florida Custom Coach, am I saying it correctly?
I'm gonna sustain the objection. Kind of speed up.
Now, we spoke about Florida Custom Coach. Did Pioneer Coach specialize in a specific type of clientele?
Pioneer US?
Yes.
Yes, they had pretty much just entertainers as well. They did a lot of country because it was out of Nashville, so they did a lot of country. All the country groups in Nashville, they would deal with a lot of those. So yes.
Did they deal with any other type of clientele outside of the country artists out of Nashville?
Yeah, they did. Yes.
What were some of the other types of genres or other artists?
They dealt with some R&B, some rap. I don't think they liked doing it, but they, the money was there, so they did it. But yeah,
Over the course of 25 years, how many tours have you driven for?
I tried counting. I think I got over 100 different tours at least.
Ooh, you made some money, brother. Tell me you want 30 million.
And can you tell the jurors some of the tours that you've driven over the course of your 25 years? Your Honor, it'll be very relevant as
Hurry up, okay? I'm about to stand the objection, okay? Let's hurry up.
Now with Pioneer, did they have a fleet of buses?
Yes.
How many different types of buses did they have in the fleet?
They had two different types. They had a Star Bus, and then they had a, well, they build buses. So whatever the client wants, they build it for their client's needs.
Can you describe for the jury the design of the buses that you would drive for Pioneer?
Mine was a Star Bus, which had 6 bunks in it, a king-size bed in the back. Usually have a shower, and just a nice area, kitchenette, and full refrigerator.
Was the artist have additional items that they would carry?
Yes, I had one of the clients had I was pulling a car behind, and one of the clients had a trailer with all their little toys, and one client had a washer and dryer. She didn't like the sheets.
Oh, sir.
She didn't like.
Yes, we don't need to hear all of that.
She didn't like the sheets in the hotel room, so she'd wash them before we go up in the room. I mean, excuse me, they would. I mean,
So when you had those specialized items, how would those items be carried?
in the trailer behind the bus.
And when artists, and I'm going to speak specifically about Pioneer, would the artist select the type of bus they want, select the type of bus that they wanted?
Yes.
Your Honor, permission to approach?
As long as
We provided PowerPoint message, I'll show them.
They know they would talk. Just,
Show them what the mark is in the 34.
we can't hear you. Mr. Steele. She talking. Look at Mr. Evans.
You have permission to approach?
you may.
I'm going to show the market states in 34 through 37E. I want you to take a look at those and kind of, if 34 through 37E are demonstratives of the types of bus that you would drive when working for Pioneer Coaching.
Thugga.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and are those a fair and accurate depiction of the types of tour buses that you just described to this jury?
Yes, they are.
Your Honor, this time the state would like the tender states to do with 34E, 35E, 36E, and 37E for demonstrative purposes.
I just did it.
I didn't ask you yet, but I'm going to. Okay, all right. Any objection to states 34 echo through 37 echo?
Not the boss.
I'm sorry?
Not the boss, it's relevant.
Okay. Is it relevant? Okay, you're speaking the objection, so is it relevancy you're objecting on? Okay, anything else? All right, overruled, sir. Mr. Adams,
What?
overruled. Anybody else?
Oh, he acting like he just gonna overrule.
34 through 37 echo is admitted over objection, may be published as you see fit.
Thank you.
They want to see that bus. Yeah, but they don't want them to see that bus. We want to see the bus.
Now, looking at first 6,
That's a big long. Ooh, that's a long
just
bus.
describe for the jury, overall, we're just going to focus on the first bus that's in this route of buses. Ideally, the outside then will go on to the inside of how the tour bus
Man, that's a bus right there.
leaving Pioneer Coaching.
this depicts just how they look. They're all cleaned up and ready to roll.
When you talked about the trailer, is that the item that's on the back of the first bus?
Yes, it is.
All right. Now looking at Stacey Exhibit 35E,
Ooh, that's nice,
if you
honey.
just orient the jury, and there's a screen to the left of you and a screen to behind you. Orient the jury to where you would sit, generally inside of this bus, and then describe what we see in 35E.
You want me to point it?
Yeah, so we can do one of two things.
Look
Touch
like
the
an
left
office.
side of here. Oh,
Uh-oh.
so we should be able to draw on here.
That's nice right there.
We'll just deal with it as we can. Looking at Stacey Exhibit 35E, just using the arrow or using the marker, if you can point the direction to where you would sit inside of that bus.
I would sit in this area right behind that little wall there.
Okay.
Okay. And does your seat sit lower than that area that you just pointed to?
A little bit, yes, I believe so.
Okay. And this middle area that we're looking at, what is this area? Do you have a name for this area or?
It's the dining area. This here is the table for dinner and what have you to eat off of, and just sitting here, and the TV's here. It's laid out for as comfortable as you can get rolling down the road.
And I see next to the driver's seat or the driver's area, there's a passenger seat. Would any of the celebrities sit up there with you, or any of the other passengers on the bus sit up there with you on your tours?
Occasionally they would, but there is a jump seat. Yes.
When you say there's a jump seat, what do you mean?
Oh, it's a jump seat where somebody else can sit up there and observe, whatever they choose to.
Okay. Looking at Stacey Exhibit 36E.
Okay.
And you can actually press that left corner again, and there should be a trash symbol or eraser. You can erase the marks.
I'm not a computer person, so I don't.
I'm not either.
But that's not, it's not showing the right picture on here. Do you mind standing up?
Sure.
Okay. Or I can, you can tell me.
Oh, that's nice, honey. Look like you at home somewhere.
Using your stick, just tell the jurors right now what area are we looking at and where is it going into? You describe it.
This is the other side of the.
And can y'all hear him? I guess they can.
This is the other side of the bus, from the dining area. This is the kitchenette here. This is the full refrigerator here. Bathroom on this side, the two bunks.
Can't see the bathroom.
On this side here. As you get to the back, it's usually a master bedroom back here.
Back there, yeah.
Or whomever. Okay.
Up back there. And I think the bunks on this side.
Whoever is, the entertainer, the artist, whoever is on the bus.
And when you said there's 6, is there 3 on the left side and 3 bunks on the right side?
This area here, there are 1, 2, and 3, and the same thing on the other side.
On the left hand side, and then going straight back is a full bathroom.
Yes.
All right, you can take a seat.
What is Mr. Shaw doing over here?
And then last would be 37E. Is this just another same angle?
Oh,
interior area that we were just discussing.
Yes, it is.
Now, when you worked for Pioneer Coaching, were you employed directly by Pioneer or were you an independent contractor?
We were listed as an independent contractor. We were getting paid by the individual artists. So, yes.
Now, tell the jury how that worked. Would the artist contact you as a driver or will they contact Pioneer or was there a combination of both?
It was a combination of both. Sometimes it would be my artist that I'm dealing with, and I would bring it to the table and say, "Hey, we got a deal." And sometimes it was just come into the office.
And in working for Pioneer, were you assigned to specific tours? Is that a no?
Yes or no?
Yeah, I was mostly.
Yes.
Some of the other guys didn't want to do some of the other tours. So
Oh, okay, that's
doing most of the
irrelevant.
raps and the
Irrelevant. Okay.
You know, a lot of the other different tours. So.
Lord, boy, they're so slow with this.
Now, did you have any input on what tours you worked?
Okay, y'all, I'm gonna skip it. She need to get to this
That's what I
case.
did. I pulled up right next to the building and parked.
What about Travis? Did Travis bus move or on your bus?
I was the only one. He had the studio bus, so I guess they were utilizing my bus, you know, because Wayne was on there. So they used just myself.
About how long were you out there before you were asked to move your bus to closer to the venue doors?
It had to have been a good little hour and a half or so.
Now, that night out in this area, can you describe, was it crowded? Was it not crowded? If you can describe to the jury, what was the crowd like out there that night?
There was a lot of people just
Crowded, baby.
out in the street. Just a lot going on.
Once you moved your bus to the front of the venue, what did you do?
I parked, then kind of tidied up my bus and stuff, and sat there and just waited, you know, for whatever was going to happen.
Were you waiting inside the bus or outside the bus or something else?
I was inside. I did a walk around my bus to make sure everything was just observing in my bus. Yes.
While waiting for the bus, did anything occur?
Yeah, a couple of guys came up, or one guy, if I remember correctly, came up and said,
You're right, we're not offering for the truth of the matter asserted. Offering for the fact of the
objection. Overrule the objection, sir.
Go ahead.
came up and passed me and said, "Hey, are you Al?" And I didn't pay any attention to him because I don't know any little young kids, and I don't know anybody that lives hardly in Atlanta, so I didn't pay attention to him. He said it again, and I just kept walking. And after he went away, and I turned to look to see who it was or just see who it was, and there was nobody that I could identify or anybody that I knew. So,
Was the person male or female?
male,
And you said the person looked young.
yes,
When you say young, what age range?
20ish, 30, 20. No, I don't know, no more than 30.
Once you ignored this individual because you didn't know anyone, did anything else occur?
I saw them, one or both of them walking around the back of the bus, and I don't know what they were doing. I was focused on other things.
You
So
should.
I don't know what they were doing.
Should have been
And
focusing
you
on
said
it.
one of them or both of them. Is this the same person who called your name Al or some other individual?
Yes.
I wonder
So
why
you
he
saw
got
the person who called Al and someone else walking around your bus?
Yes.
And you didn't pay that no attention?
You know, the person said Al was a male. The other person walking around the bus wasn't a male or female.
It's a male.
Could you tell the race of the male?
Yes.
What was that?
Both are black males.
Okay.
When you saw them walking around your bus, did you say anything to them?
No.
Baby, you got to pay that some attention.
How long, let me ask you, excuse me, from the time the person called you out to watching them walk around your bus, about how much time passed between him saying, asking for Al and the individual walking around the bus?
It was about 10 minutes.
Outside of those two males, did you see anyone else?
Damn, there's a lot of people out there. Damn, it was too much.
I've been watching my back.
What alerted you to the individuals walking around your bus? Because there are so many people out there. What alerted you to the individuals walking
I
around?
always keep my eyes on what I'm supposed to be doing, and that's why we don't like going to the venues because there's just so much going on. And, but yeah,
And generally, the person calling you Al, do most people call you Al?
people in the business do, but people that know me from way back don't call me Al. They call me by my name, but so that's why I really didn't pay attention to it. If they called me by my real name, I would have paid attention. But yeah.
After you see both the two individuals walk around the bus, what, if anything, happens next?
They went away, and I got on the bus and just sat there and waited.
And were you waiting for Lil Wayne to exit the venue?
Yes.
Did he eventually exit the venue?
Yes, they did.
From the time that the individuals
Ooh,
are
y'all
walking
still
around your
went to
bus
sleep.
to the time he comes out the venue, about how much time has passed?
It was like within a half hour, if I recall.
Tell the jurors about Lil Wayne coming out of the venue.
Well, the door came open and they all came rushing out, and there was a lot of commotion on, and a lot of people that weren't normally on the bus got on the bus.
What?
There was just a lot of commotion going on, which I didn't understand and know what was going on, so I just sat there and waited.
About how many more people entered the bus prior, about how many more people entered the bus that weren't there initially?
Probably about six extra ones.
6 extra people. On the bus?
Now, once they got on the bus, what if anything happens next?
Once Wayne got on, I sat there for a while.
Wow.
And because I didn't know which direction we were headed, so I was waiting to hear what they were going to tell me what we were going to do.
How you doing, Daisy?
And when you say you were waiting for what to do, who were you waiting for? Who were you waiting for instructions from?
Well, Wayne's was Macmillan or something. I don't know, remember his name. He came up and was yelling at me, telling me some nigga shit was going on. Excuse my language.
I'm not offering for the truth of the matter.
That was Max Short. All of the objections, sir.
Objection to the confrontation for the violation.
Your Honor, I'm still not offering for the truth of the matters.
Overruled, sir.
Go ahead.
His manager said there was some, excuse my language, some nigga shit going on, and I need to pay the attention to what's going on, or somebody's gonna seriously get hurt. And I didn't understand what was going on.
So at that point, hearing that, what did you do?
I sat there, I was and waited, and he said there was going to be a police escort just follow the police escort, and we'll leave.
Okay. And did there eventually come a police escort to escort you away from the club?
Yes.
What was the police escort? Was there cars, motorcycles, a van? What was the escort?
It was a car and a motorcycle, if I recall.
You don't remember that?
How many escorts did you have?
I had quite a few. Quite a few dealing with different artists. This night was a little different because just the car and the motorcycle I didn't understand that, but I don't make those calls.
And I'm sorry, and that was a bad question on my part. In the past, you've had police escorts.
Yes.
Specifically on this night, how many, was it only the two?
Yes.
And I guess given your prior experience, was that unusual for you?
Yes.
Okay. Did you know where the police escort was supposed to take you?
They said they were going to take me to the interstate and get me on the interstate so I can get out of town.
So they were supposed
And were
to
you
protect
scheduled
you.
to go out of town or were you scheduled to go somewhere else?
Not after driving 10 hours from Miami, and no.
Where were you scheduled, where were you going to be driving the bus after leaving the compound?
So we were going to the hotel.
Is that the same Mandarin hotel that you
Yes.
were to initially?
Yes.
Should escort you to the hotel.
When did you end up following the police escort?
They took me to the interstate, put me on the interstate, and the car pulled off to the side of the road. I got on the interstate, started heading towards the hotel.
And was the other bus with Travis, was he following you? Or was he in front of you?
Travis was behind me.
And the police escort, was there one escort in front of your bus and one escort behind Travis's bus?
If I remember correctly, yes.
And do you recall what highway they were driving you to in order for you to get back to the hotel?
If I recall, it was the 285.
Do you recall from the compound to 285 the route that you took?
I just remember it being a long road. I don't know the name of it, but it took us straight to the interstate.
And that would be 285.
Yes.
Once you got on 285, do you know where you were supposed to travel, how you were supposed to travel in order to get back to Buckhead to go to the hotel?
I put it in my GPS, and that was showing me which way to get back to the hotel or get to the hotel.
While the escort were getting you to 285, did you notice anything suspicious around you at any time on that long road that was leading you to 285?
No, not really. I didn't see anything, really, no. It was nobody out that was on that road. It was kind of weird, but I didn't see any cars or anything. We were just driving through, and they told us to run the lights if we need to. Just keep rolling.
They taught y'all to run the light?
Now, I think this says how once you got to 285, the escorts pulled over.
Yes.
Once the escorts pulled over, did you get on 285?
Yes, I did.
You ran that light if you want to, you would have got a ticket.
Tell the jurors what happened once you got on 285.
Once I got on 285, within minutes, that's when that's when the car came along and started shooting at the bus.
And he crying about that?
Now,
That's fake.
as you're driving, are you able to discern where the shots are coming from? It's coming from the front of the bus, the back of the bus, or somewhere else?
They started at the back of the bus. They shot my engine, shot my radiator, and just started shooting all down the side of the bus.
Too sensitive. Got
And at the
insurance.
time, you said, did you have those passengers, were those passengers that came out of the club, were they still on your bus as this bus is being shot up?
Yeah, they were back there screaming on the floor.
You said they were what?
Back there screaming on the floor.
Like little girls.
And we talked about kind of how the setup of the bus was. You had the king room in the back, and you had the living room area kind of towards the middle of the bus. Were people spread out throughout the entire bus, in the back in the bedroom, as well as in the middle portion?
Yes, they were.
And I see that you're crying. Why are you crying?
Objection. No.
I'll rule the objection.
Objection to the improvisation impact.
I sustain the objection. Let's move on, Ms. O'Neill.
Come on, she's too slow.
Because it was.
I can't answer the question, okay? All right.
Once you heard the shot, do you know how many shots you heard?
Heard quite a few hitting the bus. I can't count how many. I saw some flashbangs and so I can count for those.
And you saw some flash?
Yeah, from the gun flash, yeah.
How many of those did you see?
There was about 3 that I counted, and it just seemed like it just kept coming.
At the time as you're driving, do you know exactly what is hit?
At the time driving, no.
Yeah, I'm gonna skip it a little bit, okay? Cause they coming. Going too slow for
At
me.
the time as you're driving, you hear the gunshots hitting your car. Do you know? Now, looking at exhibit 38 Echo through 108 Echo, do you recognize what's contained in those exhibits?
Yes, I do.
And how do you recognize what's contained in exhibit 38 Echo through 108 Echo?
That's my bus.
And is that both the bus that you were driving as well as the bus that Travis was driving on the night or the day of April 25th into the morning of April 26, 2015?
Yes, it was both. It was myself and Travis's bus as well.
And do those pictures fairly and accurately depict the images of the bus as you saw them back on the morning of April 26, 2015?
Yes, they do.
Your Honor, this time state would like the Chamber States did a 38 Echo to 108 Echo into evidence.
Any objections to states 38 Echo through 108 Echo?
No.
All right, hearing none, they are admitted and may be published as you see fit.
First, we're going to start with State's Exhibit 38 Echo.
38 Echo. They got this out the internet.
39 and 40 Echo.
That's a nice.
Whose bus is contained with 38 Echo, 39 and 40 Echo?
40 Echo is Travis's bus.
And is that the studio bus?
Yes, it is.
I know we've been using that term studio. What does a studio bus mean?
Instead of having a big bed in the back, a king-size bed, there is a studio actually built back there.
And when you say studio, you mean like a music studio?
Yes.
Okay. And is that what you were referencing that
Wow.
you get off from your bus
That's
and go from
good.
that bus to the music studio?
Yes.
Okay. And is it fair to say that he would primarily sleep on your bus if he was to sleep or relax on your bus?
Yes.
Now, looking at 41 Echo and 42 Echo, do you see any defects on the bus that were not present when you all left Miami, Florida?
And I see one on 42 Echo.
Okay. And if it's easier, and I'll let you choose, you can either circle using the computer screen.
Look like something right there.
Right.
I'd be wrong.
Now let's go to 43 Echo? Do you see what do you see in 43 Echo?
Boy, Jesus.
He faking.
Right here? Right here?
And in 43 Echo, were those, strike that. Why did you circle those two areas of 43 Echo, which for the record are two defects in that picture?
Those appear to be gunshots to me.
Okay. And were those two defects there in the bus when you all left Miami?
No.
And did you notice it once you got back to the Mandarin Hotel?
Yes, we did. I did.
All right. And looking at now 44 Echo, is that a close-up of that top bullet hole that we saw in 43 Echo?
Nobody shot the bus up.
Okay. Now I'd like for us to go to 45 Echo.
Y'all get the lights up, okay? For those who just tuned in,
And
you are
looking
looking
at-
at the Young Thugga trial when Lil Wayne bus got hit. He alleged that somebody was on the bus when they shot, but I thought they wasn't.
Oh, there we go. Oh.
So that's what we
Now,
are.
I want to go back to 41 Echo. Excuse me, I'm sorry, 43 Echo. I apologize.
Haircut.
Now, looking at 43 Echo and 45 Echo, is this a different gunshot than what we see in 43 Echo?
You show me 43, please.
Go back to 43.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I want to move to 47 Echo.
What I'm gonna do, y'all, I'm gonna skip it.
Looking at 40.
I skipped it a little bit.
Portion those just for a moment.
Yes, ma'am.
Jim, in fact.
Hold up, y'all. There go my boy.
I mean, tour before and never had any situation like that.
Mr. Sharp coming in. Hey, Nathan.
Individuals who got on the bus.
No.
How you doing?
As you all were being escorted to 285 with the police escort, did anyone on the bus appear
I'm
upset
good,
or
baby.
angry prior to the shooting occurring?
I didn't pay attention. I was focused on the escort.
Oh man, come on. Don't be acting like that now, witness. You're an older man now.
When the white car drove past you on 25 and it pulled over on the side, if you can remember, how far was your bus, from where that car pulled over on the side? About how many car lengths between where your bus was and when they pulled over to the side?
I recall it wasn't a car length. It was about a half a mile or so. They kept on and went on up, and I saw where they were going, and I saw them pull over.
He up there crying like a big baby, 66 years old, up there crying.
Portion those just for a moment.
Yes, ma'am.
Listen to him. Oh Boy, look at him yawning. There go my boy. Thugga. Ain't nobody in there, me and them dogs gone. What is he looking for?
Cross.
Okay, here we go. Let's get this show going. Come on, Shaw, get up here and act right. Oh, Lord.
Yes.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
My name is Max Shard. I represent. The bus that you were driving, Lil Wayne's security was on that bus, correct?
Yes.
And that man's name is James Mulvey, correct?
I know him as Jim. That's what I know him as.
You know him as Jim?
Yes.
Okay. On direct, you testified that you were the only person who spoke to police that night. Jim, in fact, spoke to police that night as well, correct?
I believe so. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I can't say yes or no.
Okay.
Okay. Lil Wayne,
Now-
baby. Lil Wayne didn't come.
We heard
This
your
the bus
911
driver.
the 911 call, and you also gave a statement to the police that night at the hotel, correct?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and you were willing to cooperate with the police, correct?
Yes.
In fact, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, you wanted to prosecute this case, correct?
No.
Well, the police asked you if you're willing to prosecute, and you in fact answered that you were
Yeah.
wanting to prosecute the case that night.
Okay.
Okay. So certainly, you wanted to, when you gave your statement to the police, you didn't hold back any information, did you?
Well, when you have a CDL, which is federally governed, I just can't choose not to speak.
I understand.
So I did what I'm supposed to do.
Well,
I understand.
he understand
And you
that.
wanted to give the police as many details as possible about what you had seen.
Yeah.
Well, I had a job that I had to maintain.
Answer the coach question,
and-
yes or no.
If I didn't cooperate, I'm sure my company, Pioneer, would have probably told me because they had insurance.
Hearsay.
I'm sure if I didn't cooperate and say,
Yes, that's speculation.
Understanding objection.
Okay, well, I don't want to get too far off field.
Okay.
All I'm asking is, when you gave your statement to the police, you wanted to give them accurate details about what you had observed.
that's my job, yes.
Okay, and you weren't seeking to leave
Answer the
anything
question,
out,
man.
correct?
No.
Okay. And
So
so
smart now.
I want to talk to you about what you've testified here today. You, as I understand it, you're driving the bus. You hear what you perceive as gunshots. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you were on the front, in the driver's seat of the bus, front left of the bus, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And after hearing gunshots, you saw two cars speed past the bus on the left.
Correct.
Okay. And eventually these cars ended up pulling over on the right side of the road past the exit that you were getting off.
Correct.
Okay. And when I say you wanted to give all the details, you could,
when I say 2 cars, there were only 2 cars that sped past you on the left, correct?
To my knowledge, yes.
Okay. And one of those cars, you've testified, was a white sports car, correct?
I testified it was a Corvette.
Okay, but we were going to get to that. White Corvette. And you actually said that you saw flashes coming out of that car, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And the second car behind the white Corvette, I want to talk to you about that car. That was a white truck, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And that's what you've always said, a white truck, correct?
That's what I remember at 85 miles an hour, yes.
Okay. And those were, to the best of your recollection, the only 2 cars that you saw pass the bus, correct?
Correct.
Okay. In all of your statements, you have never, or you did not see, let me just start with this. You did not see a blue SUV that night, did you?
I don't recall that.
Okay. You do not recall seeing a blue SUV.
I don't recall that.
And you certainly did not see a blue SUV passing the bus at the time of the gunshots, correct?
I don't recall that.
Okay. Beg the court's indulgence.
Yes, sir.
It's your turn, Adam. He up there crying about
Thank you, sir.
crying about a bus.
Mr. Adams? Sure.
Mr. Lewis, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
That's my boy.
And I represent Jeffrey Williams. You don't know Jeffrey Williams, do you?
No.
He is, however, someone who is named in your lawsuit that you have filed. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so you are, as you sit here, you are a witness in this criminal case, true?
Yes.
You've been
Yeah.
subpoenaed as a witness to come in and testify.
Thank you. Open up your mouth now. You're 66
And
years
you are
old.
also the plaintiff in a lawsuit that you have brought against Jeffrey Williams, right?
Yes.
Let's see, Brian Birdman Williams, correct?
Correct.
Cash Money Records, right?
Correct.
Young Money Records, right?
Correct.
Let's see, Jimmy Carlton Winfrey, correct?
Correct.
And the YSL, the corporation, the company. Is that true?
That's true.
Okay. You have brought that suit, and you are in fact suing those individuals based on the incident that occurred on April 26th of 2015. Is that right?
That's right.
All right. Now, I want to kind of get to the crux of this. I want to ask you questions about the incident, but would I be correct in saying that at no time on either April 25th, 2015, or April 26th of 2015, did you ever see Jeffrey Williams? That's true?
That's true.
All right. In fact, based on the lawsuit that you filed, you know that on the night of April 25th into April 26th of 2015, you know that Jeffrey Williams was hundreds of miles away when this incident occurred. Don't you know that?
I don't know that.
All right. That's not information that you've garnered during the course of your lawsuit?
It's been a lot. I don't try to recollect all that stuff.
Oh, you remember that $3,000 million?
That you brought.
Yeah, I do.
I sustain the objection.
Okay. Is the company that you were driving for that night, Pioneer? Is that right?
Yes.
Are they party to the lawsuit against Jeffrey Williams?
No, they're not.
Okay, it's just you, right?
Yes.
And that is a $30 million lawsuit that you have brought against someone that you didn't even see that night. True?
True.
Matter of fact, Brian Birdman Williams, you didn't see him that night either, did you?
No.
Okay.
So how you gonna see somebody you don't
If I
know?
heard you correctly, you were not able to describe to the police or any detective or anyone any description of anyone who did any shooting on the night of the 25th going into the 26th. Is that true?
That's correct.
You didn't see anyone, did you?
That's correct.
In fact, when you were when you testified earlier about this person who walked up to you and asked for Al, you remember that?
Yes.
You didn't give a description, or you weren't asked to give a description of that person to the police at any point, were you?
No.
Clear something up for me. You said it was odd that the person came and asked for Al, right?
Right.
Your name is Al, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. And today is not the first time that you have been called upon to give testimony about the incident of the 25th and 26th. Is that true?
This is the first time I've called to testify, yes.
Have you had a deposition as part of your $30 million lawsuit
Yes,
against
I have.
Mr. Williams?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And in that deposition, you were asked questions by attorneys, correct?
Correct.
And you were asked to recount the incidents or the incident on the 25th going into the 26th. Is that true?
Yes.
All right. And you were able to recount and give them as many details as you could remember from that night.
As I remember, yes.
All right. Now, this is 2015, or the incident is 2015. So we're talking about
9 years.
About 9 years ago. Is that
Yes.
true? And it's fair to say that it's a very traumatic incident, right?
Very much so.
So much so, I mean, obviously, I've noticed that you've been upset, and you were crying out. You were upset, I understand, as you've been testifying about this. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
All right. Now, the 911 call that we heard a little bit earlier, true to say, that was you on that 911 call, right?
Yes.
And you were able to hold it together. You were very calm when you were making that 911
Sure
call.
was. He wasn't crying.
True.
You were able to give whatever details you gave during that 911 call very calmly while
That's right.
the bus was being shot at, right?
Yes.
Okay. And I heard, you tell me if you heard the same thing, on the 911 call, when you were giving the description about this white car and a white truck, there was someone in the background who was kind of telling you, yeah, it was a white car or something like that. Do you remember hearing that?
Yes.
Who was that person that was talking to you at that time?
Probably was Jim.
Probably?
He was the one next to me. There was like 12 people on the bus, so I'm not sure who was the one behind me in my ear, but it probably was Jim, which was next to me.
That would be James Mulvey, right?
I don't know his name. I know him from Jim. I don't know his full name.
Okay, Jim, though, is the person that we've described as the security guy, right?
Yes.
He is Lil Wayne's security person.
Yes.
Okay, now, so we hear who you think is Jim talking to you, giving a description of a
Get
car,
him,
right?
Adam.
Yes.
Okay, now, and we heard your 911 call. What about Dwayne Carter, Lil Wayne? Where was he when this was going on?
Objection being what was going on.
All
I
right,
sustain the objection. You can rephrase, sir.
I will, thank you. When the shooting was going on or making that 911 call, where was Lil Wayne?
He was somewhere on the bus. The curtain was drawn. I can look behind myself and dodge bullets. So I don't know. That was not my concern at the time. My concern was to make sure that the bus was safe so everybody would be safe.
Do you know whether or not he called 911 at any time while this incident was taking place? Do you know?
That Wayne did?
Yes, sir.
I don't know that.
Okay.
Wayne was thinking about
let
the
me
book.
jump back a little bit, okay? Because I heard you say that you drove from Miami to Atlanta on the night of the 25th, or the day of the 25th, true?
Yes.
Okay. So you drive to Atlanta, and instead of going to the Mandarin Hotel, because you guys had been on the road for 9.5 hours and it was almost time to be at the club, you went directly to the club.
Yes.
Okay. You park the vehicle. Mr. Carter, Lil Wayne gets off, and he ends up going inside of the club, the compound, right?
Yes.
Okay. You are out there for a while. I think you said an hour to an hour and a half. Did I get that correct?
A few hours, yes.
Okay. And essentially, you're Lil Wayne to get done, right?
Right.
I heard you describe the scene out there as you said there were all sorts of people
Yeah, there we
out
see
there
it.
on the road, on the street. Is that right? Outside the club.
Yes.
It was pretty crowded.
Yes.
There were a lot of people. Right?
Right.
And at some point, you got out and you kind of did a walk around at the bus before Lil Wayne came back to the bus. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, as you do that walk around, that's when this guy comes up to you and asks about Al. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And he was by himself.
There was another guy with. There was two of them.
Okay, so two came up initially.
Yeah, one was the talker, and the other one was, I don't know, he was with him.
Just there with him, right?
Yeah.
Anybody else around those two guys?
Not that I recall.
Okay, so it wasn't that a whole crowd of 25 or 30 people came up to you. It was these two guys, one of whom asked you, where's Al, or is Al here, or something like that.
Yeah, that was, everybody went inside after Wayne went inside, everybody went inside.
Okay.
And yeah. All right.
Somebody must
Ten
told
minutes
him
later,
not to stop talking.
You see these two guys, they kind of walk around the back of the bus, right?
Right.
Right. Nothing else unusual happens after you see them walk behind the bus. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. But when Lil Wayne came back to the bus, he got on the bus and there were a bunch of, at least 6 or so other people who were with him, people who were from the club, right?
Yes.
Okay. And these were not people who had been on the bus before.
To my knowledge, yes.
This was, Wayne was there, right?
Yes.
His security guy, Jim, was there, right?
Yes.
All right. And at least 6 just kind of random folks who came from the club with Wayne.
Correct.
You don't know anything about those people, right?
No.
Don't know who they were, right?
Right.
You don't know what relationship they had to either Lil Wayne or anyone else
said
inside
no.
or outside the club, right?
Not at all.
Okay. You don't know what had been going on inside of the club because you weren't in there, right?
Correct.
You don't know what any of these 6 or 7 people were doing inside the club because you weren't in there.
Correct.
Now, what you didn't see Wayne have any sort of altercation with anyone outside of the club. You didn't see that, right?
No, that's not my. I don't work security, so that's not my job.
So you still would have saw?
You didn't see that.
You didn't see that.
All you know is that Wayne and these folks come back to the bus, they get on the bus, right?
Correct.
And if I heard you correctly, Wayne's manager seemed like he was kind of agitated, right?
Correct.
All right. And what you remember him saying, and excuse my language, was something to the effect of, there's some nigga shit going on.
Correct.
All right. You don't know what he was talking about.
Haven't a clue.
You don't know what kind of SHIT he was talking about.
Haven't a clue.
All right. But these folks are on the bus, and then there is a police escort that takes you all to 285, correct?
Correct.
All right. While the police escort is coming with you guys, there is nothing suspicious, no cars or anything else around the buses. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. What you do know, though, is that when the police escort leaves, you guys get on 285, you started hearing shots coming, as you described, from the back of the bus, coming along the side of the bus, right?
Correct.
Right. Now, we've already talked about the fact that you saw flashes coming from the car, not the truck, the car, right?
Correct.
All right. You didn't see anyone hanging out the window, right?
Correct.
You didn't hear anyone saying anything, right?
Correct.
But you could tell that someone was shooting at the bus, right?
Correct.
Because you could hear it.
Correct.
Now, Mr. Short asked you some questions about what you saw. So I'm going to jump over that and just talk about when you got back to the Mandarin. And actually, let me make sure I clear something up. Because I heard you say that the cars pulled ahead of you and pulled to the side of the road ahead of the bus. Is that right?
Correct.
Did they both pull to the side of the road, both of these two white vehicles?
I remember seeing one. I wasn't counting, but I remember seeing one at least.
Okay. So you saw two vehicles, but in terms of, if we're talking about what you saw pulled ahead on the side of the road, we're talking about one car, one white car, right?
To my recollection, yes.
And
that's the driver who
not
the witness.
Not the truck, right?
Right.
All right. And you noticed that, and then you all got off that exit right before that vehicle, correct?
Correct.
There was no one shooting from inside of the bus. Is that right?
No.
What?
Did anyone come running up to the front of the bus? What's going on? What's happening? What's going on? Anything like that?
Not at all.
I said, wasn't nobody on that bus.
You all eventually made it back to, and by the way, your phone call, your 911 call was before you all actually got back to the Mandarin. Is that right, sir?
That's correct.
Okay. And then, as you told Mr. Short a little bit earlier, when you get back to the Mandarin Hotel, the police were there and you had an opportunity to talk to them.
Correct.
Tell me, where did Lil Wayne, I presume he got off the bus when you all got back to the Mandarin, right?
Correct.
Where did he go?
Haven't a clue.
What about Jim Mulvey? Where did he go?
Haven't a clue.
What about the 6 or 7 or so people who were on the bus, who would have been on the bus when the shooting occurred and potentially been able to describe something to the police? Where did they go?
Haven't a clue.
Okay.
He don't have a clue.
The bus had to be towed back by the company, right?
Right.
And you didn't see anyone, you didn't see those white cars again when you got back to the Mandarin Hotel, did you?
No, I didn't.
Is it fair to say that when you got back to the Mandarin Hotel, you get out of the bus and when you talk to the police, are you talking to them right there outside by the bus?
Yes.
Okay, because you were showing them the damage to the vehicles, to both vehicles, true?
Yes.
Okay. In fact, wasn't there a crime scene person who showed up that you interacted with?
I don't recall that.
Okay. You remember talking to a police officer or a detective, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, There was no one around the bus at that point, when you get back to the Mandarin, to whom you were asked to describe or anything like that, right?
I just talked to the detective or the officer.
All right. So it's fair to say that you were on the bus when the shooting occurred, and you're able to describe what happened during that shooting and after, but that's all you know, right?
That's all I was involved with, yes.
Right.
He just
And
want that money.
In terms of who did that shooting,
Yeah, right.
right? Who was shooting at that bus? You don't know.
He
do you?
don't.
From the 180-page police report, it identified who did the shooting.
I'm asking you what you know,
You
sir, because
know.
you were the witness, right?
Exactly.
You were the one who was present, correct?
Correct.
You were the one who was in that bus, right?
Correct.
You were the one who saw that white car, right?
Correct.
You were the one who did not see anyone or could not identify anyone in the white car, right?
Correct.
All right, so I don't want to ask you about what any police officers told you or what they came up with, but in terms of what you know, you don't know
He don't.
who shot at that bus.
Never said I did. Correct.
You don't know why anyone shot at that bus, right?
You don't.
Is there a real reason why? I don't know. But,
Just answer the question.
No, I don't know the real reason why.
Right. And you would agree with me that it's probably pretty difficult to shoot at a bus on April 25th, 26th on I-285 from Louisiana, right?
Let me think. Yeah, it's pretty difficult. Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Because you know
Grown
that
now. You're grown
Mr.
man.
Jeffrey Williams, person who's sitting over there, was in Louisiana when all of this occurred. You know that, don't you?
No, I don't.
You do not?
No.
Okay. Did you allege that? Or did you confront that issue?
Somebody
in your
told
civil
him.
suit when the depositions were being taken?
I didn't allege any that he was. I don't know where he was, so I don't know that.
So how you gonna sue him?
When did you file the lawsuit?
About 2 years after the incident happened.
Okay, so 2015 is the incident, and about 2017 or so is when you filed the civil lawsuit and started receiving information and discovery in that lawsuit, right?
Correct.
Okay. Give me 1 second, Mr. Lewis. Just can I have a second, please?
Yes.
They getting you. He want $30 million for somebody who he don't know who shot his bus. Ain't he something? These folks know they go after each other. Thug wasn't even there, y'all. Why they want that boy in jail so bad? Thug, just stay like you doing, baby. Thug, just stay like you doing and stay strong.
Thank you. Any further questions? All right, Mr. Matthews.
Mr. Lewis, good afternoon, sir.
Good
Just have a few questions for you. On April 25th and 26th, 2015, you were actually working for Pioneer, the bus company, correct?
Yes, I was.
And you were, at the time of this incident, you were acting and working within the scope of your employment, correct?
Correct.
You were on duty, essentially, correct?
Correct.
Did you file a workers' compensation claim in connection with this case?
Look at her.
I don't recall that. I mean, I don't recall this.
Okay.
Yes, you do.
I was diagnosed with PTSD, so there's some things I don't recall. So that's one of the things I don't recall.
Here we go. Here we
Because
go.
of this incident.
I understand.
Gotcha.
You don't recall whether or not you received any compensation as a result
Thank you.
of any claim that you would have filed with workers' comp as a result of this alleged incident.
During that time, I don't recall a lot of stuff.
Okay.
You don't. Come on, man. Y'all stop being
That's all
smart,
right.
man.
Thank you.
You do remember.
That, go right ahead, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So if something wrong with you,
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Jay Apt. I represent Diamante Kendrick. Do you know who Diamante Kendrick is?
Haven't a clue.
Have you ever heard his name before?
No.
This gentleman sitting next to me in the a black shirt and a tan jacket. Do you recognize him at all?
No.
No? Do you have any knowledge that Diamante Kendrick was in any way related to the incident you've described?
I haven't a clue about that.
Okay, thank you. No other questions.
Anybody else? Any redirect?
Got his little arch eyebrows. I see you, brother. I see you, girl. All right, yeah. Ooh, let me skip a little bit, yeah. Ooh, they got a little break. They got a little break. Let's go right here.
Since March of 2018.
Would you tell the jury what Clippers and Cops is? Background.
That's the thing. Oh, rule objection, she said.
Please tell the jury what it is.
To create empathy between law enforcement and the community. When I would go get my haircut, we would have some of the best conversations. And so I decided to grab not only law enforcement, but people from the community. And we basically meet once a month, every third Thursday of the month since 2018. And we basically have open dialogue conversations between the community and law enforcement.
When you say between the community and law enforcement, where all do you all have these open communications?
Each month we pick a barbershop. When we first started, we couldn't find any barbershops. And then now we have to do a lot of barbershop because everybody wants us to come.
Is it only in the state of Missouri?
No, it started here in Atlanta. And when I moved back, I started doing it back in St. Louis as well.
Before working in your current capacity, where did you work?
I worked for the City of Atlanta Police Department.
And what was your last position at the City of Atlanta Police Department?
I was a gang detective as well as a ATF officer.
When did you first start working with the City of Atlanta Police Department?
September 7th, 2004.
What was your first job there?
I was a recruit for 4 months. I went to the academy in December, graduated April of 2005. My first assignment was Zone 5, downtown. My assignment was the Boulevard, Old Fourth Ward area.
And when you say your assignment was the Zone 5 Boulevard, Old Fourth Ward area, what was your official title?
I was a patrol officer.
And what did you do as a patrol officer?
Answer 911 calls.
All right, let me skip it. I'm gonna get to the.
And did you ever become involved in any gangs?
I did not.
How did you avoid it?
Sports. Basically, my family, my older siblings wouldn't allow me to get involved in that.
All right.
Oh, I'll sustain that objection.
Now, when you left Holy Press, where did you go?
I went to Lakeland College in Mattoon, Illinois.
And when you went there, did you have a particular major already picked out and in mind?
I majored in criminal justice.
Why did you major in criminal justice?
Because I grew up around crime. I was kind of fluent.
That's how it is in Atlanta.
What did you want to do with the criminal justice degree?
I want to go into the FBI.
Did you graduate?
I did.
And what degree did you receive?
I got an associate's in criminal justice.
After graduation, what year did you graduate? First?
99.
And after graduation, what did you do?
I transferred to the University of North Alabama, where I double majored in criminal justice and sociology.
Did you graduate from?
I'm gonna skip it, y'all, because I don't want to hear all that. I want to hear.
We'll start with State's Exhibit 109, Echo. Would you look at the area depicted in State's Exhibit without? State's Exhibit 109, Echo. Do you recognize that area depicted in State's Exhibit 109, Echo?
Yes.
An accurate representation, and Your Honor, State Exhibit 109 Echo is for demonstrative purposes. Is this a fair and accurate representation of the way that this area looked around the time that you are describing working that extra job at Compound?
Yes.
April 25th?
Yes.
And is this a accurate Google image depiction of that area?
Yes.
Your Honor, for demonstrative purposes, the state tender states Exhibit 109 Echo.
Gentlemen, lady, any objections to States 109 Echo? No. All right. States 109 Echo is admitted. You may publish as you see fit.
Thank you, Your Honor. We'll go next to what's already been admitted as State's Exhibit 3 Echo. Do you recognize the area depicted in State's Exhibit 3 Echo?
Yes.
And is State's Exhibit 3 Echo an accurate
Skim y'all like
Google image of the way that the area depicted in 3 Echo looked?
going on here.
3 Echo an accurate Google image of the way that the area depicted in 3 Echo looked on April 25th?
We almost there, y'all.
Yes.
Do you recognize the area depicted in State's Exhibit 4 Echo?
Yes.
Is this an accurate depiction of the area surrounding Thugga compound that you worked on April 25th, 2015?
Yes.
Your Honor, States 3 Echo, 4 Echo, and 5 Echo have all been admitted previously for demonstrative purposes.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you recognize State's Exhibit 5 Echo?
Yes.
How do you recognize State's Exhibit 5 Echo?
What do you mean when you say how?
I mean, is it an accurate, have you seen this area before?
Yes, this is looking southbound on Brady going towards Marietta Street.
And is this an accurate Google image of the area that you were working at Club Compound on April 25th, 2016?
Yes.
Looking at State's Exhibit 6 Echo, the demonstrative that is already made.
Hey, Thugga. They that want you in that jail. Ugly, a big baby now. Okay, here you go, y'all. Let's look at it. Let's look. There we go. Hold on. Hold on, I'm trying to put it on this diagram. I wonder why they ain't letting us here. Hold on, why they turned it off? Wonder why he take the volume down. They turned the volume down, y'all. Can you hear? Come on. He not even turning it up. Don't even have the volume up.
Tend to congregate and wait on their parties, who's getting the tables and stuff like that. And then they would have to go through security checkpoints to go through there. And then you had the general admission up on the other side. So they had checkpoints at both points and they had officers at each one.
Would you drop VIP on the area depicted on this replica of Stacy's Exhibit 4E? For the record is that drawing that you just made the markings on an exact duplicate of Stacy's Exhibit 4E.
Yes.
Thank you. Now, this area, the compound located at 1008 Brady Avenue,
Yes.
and is that in Fulton County?
Yes.
Now, when did you first learn that Lil Wayne was set to appear?
Probably days prior.
Did you get any particular instruction days prior as it related to the job that night?
No.
Either way, I'll overrule the objection.
When you first arrived, and Your Honor, I'm asking the next question not for the truth of the matter, but for its effect on the listener, were you given any instructions?
Basis.
Objection to the speaking commentary, the basis of the question.
I'm gonna sustain the question. Just go ahead and pose it now.
When you arrived on April the 25th of 2015, were you given any particular instructions as it related to the Lil Wayne appearance at the compound?
That on hearsay.
Offered not for truth, but for the effect on the listener.
All right, overruling. On both bases, Mr. Sharp as well as Mr. Adams. You can answer the question.
Were you given any particular instructions?
Yes, every night when we get there, they would give us instructions on what was going on or different stuff like that.
This particular night, did you receive any particular instructions?
Yes.
What were they?
That if any, based on the turmoil between.
Foundation.
Not based on it.
Hearsay.
I sustain the objection, Mr. Foreman.
I don't need you to say based on anything. I just need to know what instruction you were given.
If it,
Overrule, sir.
Just the instruction that you were given.
if anyone from YSL arrived at the club that night, they were not to be allowed inside the club.
What?
Now, did you convey to, and was this instruction given to you
So
by
Thugga wasn't in
the
there.
owner?
Yes, and the supervisor over us.
So Thug wasn't inside the club, yeah.
They would be able to follow these instructions.
It wasn't, usually at the entrance, they deal with the people coming and going. I didn't work back there. I was out front, so I didn't really know how that was gonna be conveyed or not.
So, did anything happen?
Hold up, y'all. Hold up. So I gotta correct something. I have to correct something, okay? So Young Thug wasn't in that club. I was thinking that Young Thug was in the club on stage with Lil Wayne, but he wasn't. So Young YSL wasn't welcome inside the compound. So that's what they trying to say, that they was acting a fool on the outside of the compound since they wasn't welcome in the compound since Lil Wayne was there. I get what they doing now. Okay.
Cause you to have to become a little bit more engaged with the crowd than you normally do.
Objection, Your Honor, vague.
I sustain the question, Mr. Foreman.
Did the club staff give you any specific names other than YSL to keep out?
No, and I was familiar through our investigation. We were.
Objection to this foundation, objection to the hearsay.
Ma'am?
He's talking about his own personal knowledge, not what somebody told him.
I'll overrule the objection.
You may.
At the date and time of this incident, we were almost 5 months into an investigation. The thing about myself,
Before you go further, let me ask you this.
Cool.
Were you given any specific names to keep out other than YSL?
just Young Thug's people.
Okay. At the time, did you know who Young Thug was?
Objection.
Cases.
Yeah, he know who Young Thug is.
All right.
He know he's an officer. He know who Young Thug is. Look at her trying to beat them up there so she can talk to the judge. Look at her. Y'all better get up there with her. She talking to the judge. Look at her. She's still talking to the judge. Yeah, I better walk up there fast like when she walk up there. I don't know if I'm just in Atlanta. I don't know Young Thug, but I know his music. Oh, lady, if you gonna walk up there fast. Y'all trying to be cute and stuff. They already done start talking. And she don't never get up. That girl right there don't never get up. Let me skip it, y'all. I don't have time to be looking at this. Hold on. I'm gonna skip it. Skip. Okay. I seen that dude sing.
Retired Detective Dennis, on April the 25th of 2015, had you heard of Young Thug?
Yes,
All right. Did you recognize him on sight? Did you recognize him by sight?
yes,
Had you heard of his music?
yes,
Had you listened to his music?
yes,
Had you ever met him personally?
no,
Who fit the description of those people you were told to keep out?
yes.
Do you remember around what time it was?
Late in the evening, 1:32.
Do you remember what time the club closed?
Club closed at about 3.
3 p.m. or 3
Around
a.m.
1:30 or 2. Could you tell the jury what the crowd had become like around the area of the compound? Was it still as thick as it was when it first opened?
It's thicker. So now you got the people that are in, the ones that are coming out. You have the people that couldn't get in, and you have some that just are trying to hang out.
Stand around.
When was it that you first noticed in terms of what it was that was happening? People that caused you to be on alert?
Well, I'm always on alert as a police officer, but
Okay, alert
with
period.
the background into everything that was going on, and while pulling traffic, a vehicle pulled up, and when the vehicle pulled up, anytime I deal with guys that I know from work, I call them by their government name, and so I called to them by their government name.
Do you remember what kind of vehicle it was that pulled up?
Not off the top.
Do you remember who it was that you saw and recognized and called by their, as you put it, government name?
Demikion Garlington and Shannon Stillwell.
And do you recognize either of those persons as being in the courtroom today?
I think Shannon Stillwell is Shannon Stillwell Jackson or whatever.
Where is Shannon Stillwell located? In the courtroom? What is he wearing by Marco?
What is that, a gray sweater vest or something?
There you go.
And who is he seated next to on either side of the room?
Mr. Sharp and the blonde haired gentleman next to him.
Mr. Bobby, can you get the blonde hair?
Hey, well, no disrespect, sir. I ain't trying to disrespect the hair. My bad. What I thought. Sorry.
With the judge reflect that the witnesses identified.
He said the blood.
Yeah, say will reflect that he's identified.
What color is his hair? Oh. That's a color. That's right.
Just be quiet.
When you
It's gray hair. It's white hair. He albino.
were Mr. Garlington and Mr. Stillwell the only two people in the car that you saw?
No,
Do you know who else was in the car with them?
the driver was Trontavia Stevens, or AKA Lil T.
He know all them
Did you know
boys.
Trontavia Stevens before that night?
I knew his face, never met him.
Do you recall whether they were the only car that you needed to pay attention to at the time that you noticed them? Was that the only car?
No, it was a entourage of cars. It was several cars.
And how do you know, how are you able to make that determination it's an entourage of cars as opposed to just individual cars?
Because it seemed as if they were all following each other.
I stand objections to that.
Better yet, describe how the cars were traveling.
They were all traveling southbound on Brady. If you go to Exhibit 5E,
All right, we're on Bobby.
this is southbound. This is going southbound on Brady. They were all coming this direction, and it was just lines of cars that were all together.
So that was all YSL.
Had you described earlier that many patrons were trying to park and were coming along Brady Avenue?
So traffic is going in both directions. You have hundreds of people on both sides of the streets. You got people standing around. It's just a lot of people, a lot going on.
And so, what about this particular set of cars caused you to describe it as an entourage?
Overruled, sir.
You may answer, please. What caused you to describe
The
it?
valet actually mentioned it. He was like,
Without talking about the valet or what someone else said, based on your own observations,
once I saw the individuals that I knew, I began looking in every car that was coming. I was standing right there.
okay. How far were you from the car?
I'm right on the yellow line, pretty much. We try to stand in the middle so we don't get hit.
So, if I walk towards you, tell me to stop when I get as close as you were.
About right there.
So how many feet would you call this from you?
2, 3.
Okay. Were the car windows that you saw containing people that you knew up or down?
They would have to let the window down in order for the valet to tell them what the price or if they wanted to park or not.
All right. And was it then that you were able to see inside, or were you able to look inside before they looked?
When they let the window down, I could look directly into the car.
What, if anything, did you say to Mr. Stillwell when you saw him, Mr. Darlington, and Mr. Steve?
I said, Mr. Demekion Garlington and Shannon Stillwell, how are you? And Lil Tick said, how the hell 12 know your name?
What?
Now, when you speak of 12, what are you talking about?
That's slang for police.
Overruled, sir.
How the police know his
And
name?
did you say anything else?
I did not.
What happened after you called their names?
They just looked. They didn't really say anything.
Did you give any instructions?
Have a good night.
What happened next?
I continued to pull traffic throughout the evening. Stood in the middle of the street pulling traffic.
Did you, at any point, attempt to turn the cars themselves around as they drove along Brady?
No,
Why not?
that wasn't the assignment. If we would have did that, we would have messed up the traffic's already bumper to bumper. If we would have did anything like that, we would have made it even worse.
How many other vehicles did you see containing people that you recognized?
I didn't necessarily see any that I recognized.
You didn't see any people that you recognized or vehicles that you recognized?
The vehicles that they were driving at that point, I'm walking down.
Okay.
So I'm not really, it's not like every car's pulling up and I'm looking in and trying to see who it is.
Okay. At any point, did you see another person? Did you ever see a person that you knew as Peter?
Yes.
At what point did you see the person you knew as
still working traffic, was familiar with them.
Do you know how long after it was that you saw Mr. Stillwell and Mr. Garlington that you saw the person you knew as he?
Close proximity in time. I wasn't, like I said, there was a lot going on. It's not like I was really keeping track of time or something.
And I'm not gonna hold you to specifics, but when you say close proximity, are you talking an hour, a minute?
5 minutes, 10 minutes maybe.
I'm gonna show you what has already been admitted as Stacy's exhibit number 32, Echo. Do you recognize Stacy's exhibit 32, Echo, the person depicted inside?
Yes.
And who do you recognize 32, Echo to be?
Jimmy Winfrey. At the time, I knew him as Roscoe or Pee Wee.
Naming all them jokers.
Could you take the markings off the screen? Is the person we're looking at the person that you recognize that night as Pee Wee?
Yes. Yes.
Do you recall what kind of vehicle Mr. Winfrey was in that night?
Later that night, I saw him he was in a white Camaro.
Now, Camaros, are you familiar with those cars?
I know cars a little bit.
All right. Do you know what particular model of Camaro he was in?
Not at that time. Model.
From left to right, what is each person wearing so that the record?
Sledge is the one with the dark hoodie on. Shannon is the one in the middle. Tick is the one in the red hoodie.
Showing you Stacy Exhibit 19 uniform that has already been admitted as evidence. Do you recognize the people depicted in Stacy Exhibit 19 uniform?
Yes, some of them.
Which people do you recognize in 19 uniform?
Quindarius Zachary, Walter Murphy, and Trontavious Stevens.
Okay.
Walter Murphy, everybody know you, brother.
Hold on, and expand just a little bit. Would you describe where the people that you recognize are inside this photograph by an article of clothing and by writing their initial over their name, over their face? Who are you drawing on now?
I put a QZ for Quindarius Zachary and DK for Walter Murphy.
Look at
What is
DK.
Quindarius Zachary wearing in the picture?
A gray hoodie, red pants.
And where is Walter Murphy in relation to Quindarius Zachary?
Right
He's kneeling in front of him.
And where is Trontavious Stevens in relation to Quindarius?
He's in the middle with the look like a red backpack.
Red backpack?
Yes.
Woo. Walter Murphy, boy. Your name everywhere,
What
DK.
happened after, at what point rather, was it that you saw and spoke to Mr. Zachary in relation to the time that you saw the person you called Pee Wee? How many minutes after?
Zachary?
Yes.
I saw Pee Wee earlier in the night. At this point, I didn't see Pee Wee.
So approximately how long after you saw Pee Wee was it before you saw Zachary?
I don't, could have been 30 minutes, could have been an hour, I'm not sure.
Was Zachary on foot or inside the car?
I saw him on foot.
Who else did you see on foot?
Walter Murphy.
At some point, did you notice any particular group of people making their way towards the club that you sought to stop?
I saw people congregating on the corner of 11th and Brady, but we didn't necessarily go stop them. I had a specific assignment of pulling traffic.
At the time that you first saw Mr. Stillwell, Mr. Garlington, and Mr. Stevens, do you know whether or not Lil Wayne had come out of the compound?
No clue.
Do you know whether or not his tour buses had left?
They had not.
Were you paying attention to the point at which Lil Wayne came out of the compound?
Not at all. Wasn't my assignment.
I'm going to show you what has already been admitted as State's Exhibit 30 Echo.
Walter Murphy look bad, but we're down there. They couldn't even get in the club, so why they down there? They probably didn't know they couldn't get in there.
Do you recognize the area depicted in 30 Echo?
Yes.
How do you recognize that area? What do you recognize that area to be, rather?
That is, I believe, to be 10th Street and Brady. And that's where the valet would take some of the cars. And,
Shooting happened right there.
different parking and stuff is going on right there.
How far from that area was were the tour buses when you?
Not far.
When you say not far, what do you mean?
See.
Okay.
Woo. But that car right there don't play the map.
So when you say that the buses were feet away, do you recall exactly where they were parked?
From my recollection, if we can go to one of those other pictures.
The pictures in front of you, which one accurately depicts the area you recall the buses in?
3E or 5E is probably gonna be the best picture. And if you look where, I can pull it up.
You said 3E or 5? Which one is it?
Either one, they're the same, I think.
We'll go back.
Hmm?
We're gonna go back. Do you see the area in 3E?
Not really, but if you,
Let's go to 5E then. You see the area in 5E?
it's about the same.
Generally, several areas you remember the buses being.
All right. On my right, my pin. I need my pin. I need the pin thing. Come on.
Go to the corner.
Go to the what?
Corner.
Oh, all right.
After you
Oh, he put it right there.
saw the person called Pee-wee, when you saw the person called Pee-wee, after Benny told you to stop the vehicle, did you see anything inside the vehicle that caused you concern?
No, I jumped. I basically moved myself out the way.
Oh, they were trying to hit you?
And did you run any kind of traces on the gun that you picked up that you saw Walter Murphy?
Eventually,
And was that gun reported stolen?
yes.
I'm going to object to the hearsay and ask that be true.
Respond.
Your Honor, this information has previously,
I'll overrule the objection, Mr. Adams.
at some point later on in the night, tell the jury what happened after you saw Mr. Zachary and had observed the person you called Pee-wee, DK, and Bugsy.
Everybody pretty much started going on their way, and then at that point, it was the end of the night. So we were trying to pull traffic to get everybody out.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, it was kind of chaotic. When Officer Finney basically was down the street saying, stop that car, I couldn't really hear what he was saying. And once I did hear what he was saying, the driver, I didn't necessarily know who was driving. But when he hit the gas, of course, I moved out the way. At that point, two of other units that were working were on motorcycles. So they literally gave the bus an escort away from the compound so that they can go. Once they gave them the escort away, we're still dealing with the traffic and everything that's going on. At some point, security, somebody that was a part of Lil Wayne's security team or something stayed behind. And he came running out to where we were standing. It was like they're shooting.
Without saying what he said, can you tell the jury approximately how long it was after Lil Wayne's bus left that you saw a member of his security detail come out and speak?
15, 20 minutes maybe.
After that person came out and spoke, did you do anything as it relates to Lil Wayne, people who weren't allowed in, anything at all?
At that point, everybody's going their own separate ways. We are dealing with the crowd. The two officers that gave the escort are friends of ours. So, of course, when we heard about shooting, we called to check on them. They weren't answering, so we started getting worried about our fellow officers. Eventually, they pulled back up to the location.
How long after they left was it that they pulled back up to the location?
I'm not sure. Probably 30 minutes, 40 minutes, something.
And by this time, is it the 26th or is it still the 25th of April?
It's the next day, but it's still the same night, basically. It's after midnight.
And who were those two officers that you knew? Do you recall?
Sergeant Wade Burris and Al Watkins.
Your Honor, may I approach? Do you remember our witness?
You may.
Okay, let me skip it.
Okay.
And we'll be going to 5:30 tomorrow to 5:30.
Oh, yes.
All right. And was that in your capacity as a detective with the gang unit?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Did you, in your report, document that there were 25 to 30 individuals with?
Yes, Your Honor.
Basis.
You said out of court statement.
20 or 30?
It's also the.
I'll stand as the lead, sir.
Did you document in your report seeing a certain number of individuals as it relates to YSL at the compound?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall approximately how many people it was that you documented seeing?
About 20 to 30.
How many?
20 to 30 people that I saw that night.
Okay. And in your report, did you document
The whole crew.
what you saw them do?
Objection, Your Honor, improper impeachment based on this report.
Overruled, sir.
Did you document what you saw those persons doing that were affiliated?
Yes, I wrote a police report in reference to what happened that night.
Okay. And as you sit here today, do you recall what you observed them doing?
Yes.
What was it that you observed them doing?
I observed, like I said previous, the car arriving.
I'm a standing objection.
Before seeing the people you recognize, specifically Mr. Stillwell, Mr. Garlington, Mr. Stevens, how would you describe the general atmosphere of the crowd as you observed it?
It was one of the busier nights. you could feel tension
Yeah.
in the air.
Was that before, during, or after you observed Mr. Steele?
This was probably
Basis.
Just in the case of the question she said, when they showed up.
What's the case for your objection?
That's it.
Overrule, sir.
I'm gonna object that speculation. I don't know what tension in the air is.
I'll sustain as the form. You can rephrase.
What, if anything, did you observe about the crowd as it relates to the demeanor of the crowd before seeing Mr. Stillwell, Mr. Garland, and Mr. Steele?
it was pretty much a typical night. Like, it's an inner city nightclub. There was a lot going on. There was a lot of people doing a lot of different things.
And
The
that's how
whole
it
thing
is.
for us was, like I do every Saturday night, is try to keep the peace and to make sure everybody have a good time and make sure I go home safe as well.
Did you become
Keep the crowd
more
going,
alert
moving.
after seeing Mr. Stillwell, Mr. Garland, and Ms. Stevens, or did you remain?
Well, that was Mr. Sharp. Leading. I'll sustain as the form.
Did your attention span remain the same after you saw Mr. Stillwell, Garlington, and Stevens?
Yes.
And how would you describe your attention to the persons you were directing?
I still did my assignment, but I'm always observant of, trying to be observant of what's going on. Like I said
Me
before,
too.
it's a lot going on. It's a inner city nightclub. Like, things can go from 0 to 100
That's right.
in the matter of seconds. I'm always trying to be observant, also trying to pull traffic and keep everything flowing.
That's right.
The 20 to 30 people that you described seeing, what direction did you see them, if any at all, walk or drive or move towards?
If you go to 5E or the picture from 11th and Brady, they started to congregate and basically click up on that corner.
Now, YSL, y'all wasn't supposed to be at that club. So why were y'all there?
All right, 5E is on the screen,
Now, y'all look, y'all.
and if you would, using the 5E that you previously drew on over here, don't get them mixed up. Thank you. Put 20 to 30 at the location you said it again to congregate, and then also draw that on the screen. Here you use the phrase click up, or am I hearing you?
I did say click up.
What is that?
Congregate, a bunch of people congregating together.
Okay. And can you describe on the screen, draw on the screen, the direction you saw them beginning to travel?
I didn't necessarily see any of them travel. I just saw them on the corner. Like I said, I'm at this point through the course of the night, I'm working traffic in this area, so I can see right there. Of course, it wasn't until Officer Booker told us to come down by the buses when I made my own way down to the buses myself. I don't necessarily paying attention. They weren't the only people that were out there.
Did you instruct them to do anything?
No. Earlier in the night when I saw Mr. Winfrey, we shook hands. And I said, good to see you, good to see you. I was like you got some sense. And keep going.
That's right.
Did anyone with you instruct the group to keep moving?
Not that I know
Do you recall writing in your report that, of advising the group to keep moving?
of. If I can see my report.
Like y'all supposed to just sit there and remember that for 9 years ago. You don't have 9 years of birthdays. Yeah, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start right here. This is the police officer. This the police officer that was at the hold on, y'all, let me put this down here. That's the police officer who was at the compound, and he works the compound. So he know, usually when you work at the same club, you see the same people. And he recognized YSL members like he's Steele and Murphy and the other boy. And they wasn't supposed, they couldn't get in the club. I don't see why. I love you, Young Thug, but the Young Thug wasn't there though. But they was there. I don't understand why they at the compound if they weren't supposed to be at the compound. So one of the my conclusion is that one of the YSL member that we don't see, that he shot the bus. He's supposed to be the one that YSL member shot the bus. But Thug one down, Thug somewhere else. But I don't know how this gonna work out. And then you had the bus driver, Lil Wayne bus driver, Lil Wayne bus driver saying that he want 30 millions for what happened to that bus. The bus company want 30 millions uh, uh, from Birdman, White, Young Thug, and somebody else. But he don't know who shot his bus. But y'all, I appreciate y'all here tonight and everything. Tell me down in the comment section. I don't understand how he gonna get money, and I didn't shoot your bus up. So y'all like, share, and subscribe. I'm out.